But these mofos have the nerve to call it live mode. No, it's live mode. Live mode is a scheme set up by Todd. It's propaganda. You're living. You build, you buy, you live. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, vstreetlove. I'm Vanessa, my pronouns are she, her, and on this channel I like to make silly gaming videos. And today we are looking at the Paralives gameplay video that they posted, where we have 45-ish minutes of uninterrupted gameplay. I have already watched it, so I'm just gonna go through and give you my thoughts of what we're getting from the Paralives gameplay. So let's get into it. Okay, I do like seeing these options. Now, they probably have other little moments where they show off like the Paramaker and all the little things that you can do. So we didn't get into it too much, but we were able to pick a little bit of the Para's personality. One thing I'll say about looking at the gameplay and stuff that they showed off is I do like how it feels like a much more guided experience. Like you're choosing the wants based on the interactions that you're doing. And the wants are a good way to drive the gameplay. There's the goals as well to kind of like drive the gameplay. And I feel like that helps because there are players who, when they get into life simulation games like The Sims, they're a little bit like, what do I do now? And because I think sometimes I take for granted that I've been playing this game in some capacity since I was like 11 years old. You know what I mean? I'm in my 30s now. So when it comes to like The Sims conceptually and similar games, I have a range of things that I'm like, I can lean on. That hit of what do I do now can quickly dissipate because I basically have 20 years more or less of figuring out what to do now in a game like this. But, having these little characteristics that then are gonna drive like the effects. Like I know that we experienced that with The Sims 4, but I like the way that so far it's being executed in Paralives. Like it's just a slightly different take on how to do those things. And that was really cool to see. And some of the little descriptions I thought were cute. It's definitely giving cutesy, cozy. And I'm curious what level of just kind of like chaos you can add to your Para's lives, right? So yeah, the way Rena was playing was kind of funny because I just, I'm like, and Rena might have like a specific set of things that they're trying to show for the game, you know what I mean? For the sake of this like demo, basically. That's really what we were watching today, was like a live mode demo. Sorry, the face was not about the demo. The face was about live versus live mode. Very much a cozy kind of player. Let me kind of skip through here. So, you know what I did like too? I like picking these little points. It reminded me of Sims 2, where you would kind of like pick their personality and they get a little zodiac sign. That's what this kind of reminded me of. Some of this though, I was a little bit confused because I'm like, can they earn more points through gameplay that you can attribute to different things? Also, the idea here that Rena didn't want to leave no charisma because that had negative effects. I want to see the negative effects. I want to see the positive and I want to see the negative. I want to see things be successful and I want to see it fail. So yeah, so looking at the little vibes, that was cute. And like really trying to kind of craft little Para and how they might want to move through the world. Adorable. And then going through, so someone, I think Roger, you said that the little circle on the ground kind of takes you out of their immersion. The little chalk outline circle is their little plumb bob. It's like, this is who you're playing with now. So I'm like, I get it. All of this. I was saying too about the Paras kind of walking around. They kind of look like, they kind of just like robots walking around. I wish there was a little bit of like a recognition of other Paras around. The new paper I think is cute. I'm a little bit like, what I wish we could see. I wonder if that's coming. Like, I wish I could see what I'm agreeing to with these offers. I'm like, what is that? Because otherwise, like, what's going on? Why do I have to accept before I know what the town discovery is? But that could just be coming later or not at all. The new paper is a cute thing, but I'm still not sure. If it's too sugar-coated, it won't be any fun. Right. That's what I think that's really for me. I'm like, no, I need a little bit of spice. So then there was this whole thing with the rank for jobs, which I'm like, rank 29. Is this kind of like where you can get promoted to a new thing? Application points, programming 1, technology 1, work experience in software development, stat high, charisma 2, total 4, and then required is 0. I don't know what this means. Does this mean that there's a chance you get rejected from a job? I kind of like how intricate this system is. Like, some things need to feel a little bit more involved. And I wonder if any of these are active. Like from some other of the gameplay that we've seen, it seemed like some of the jobs are active and some of them are rabbit holes. But I can't tell from looking at this what's active and what's a rabbit hole, or if I'm supposed to be able to tell. Yeah, so Rena's going through, clicking through the different levels. I don't know why we are and are not qualified. I think Rena says, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's a talent thing. I don't know why we aren't qualified. So now we're going through and picking the schedule. I did like that as well, a little bit more customizing of when you work. And then I like how big the text is. Something about this text and the fact that it was kind of like right there and then it kind of goes away. It was kind of cute. I really like them clicking on the different buildings. Hold on, did we already do it? And it loading instantly. Yeah, so when Rena clicks on, do you click on Bloom? Oh no, you're talking to the preteen, which yeah, there are preteens coming, I guess, in this game, which I do think is kind of funny. I told you the perspective is a little odd. So then it's like when we go to visit a place, click visit, no loading screen. It just loads up. That's really cool. I don't know if there's a way to unload something, like if you loaded something and you want to get rid of it. I also couldn't tell what was supposed to be happening here, if someone's supposed to be working here, or if it's just kind of like set up to make it look like people work here. Can we work here? It seemed odd that nobody would be there to like help us, because it kind of just feels like I'm breaking into the business, or like it's not really open yet, but I'm gonna get in there early. I'm gonna get my croissant. I'll leave, $5 on the counter. Now, we did get a peek at the cooking skill. I did like seeing that. I like that we could attempt level 2 skill recipe, but Rena didn't want to click on it because she didn't want it to fail. And I'm like, no, let it fail. I want to see you try to attempt it and it doesn't work. And then, okay, and like, what does that look like that it didn't work? And then go and back and do one that you anticipate working. If we work on a level that's beyond the level that we have, do we get extra experience points or whatever? There was also different talks about experience points, which I like that because it feels kind of like, again, like a gamified thing. It's kind of giving us a different context of what we're working toward. We hit these goals, we get XP, and the XP, I guess, can be used to upgrade your para's personality. I also thought it was funny that this para kept going to the computer, first to work on his programming, then to work on his graphic design skill. He stayed at that computer. There's something about computers and life sim games that these little simulated people love a computer, okay? I don't know what that says about us. Paras need higher skills to be qualified. Okay, that's cool. I like that. I like that you can work on your skills while you have one job and then maybe go to another job and get a higher rank of something. Okay. And then it's like, yeah, we watched this para use the bathroom. We watched this para sleep a lot. I would have rather see the para work more on his skills, maybe change a couple outfits, meet and talk with more people. We did that a little bit, but between just going to work, which was a rabbit hole, I'm like, I didn't want to see that. I love seeing the social interactions of like, oh, introduce yourself as new in town. And I like that this little rank thing, you get a little option of what to do. Like it feels like a interactive game in that way. These upgrades from work, like coming back from work every day and getting a little thing that could happen or thing that you could do, pretty cool. Although I couldn't tell if this was just something that only what's the word I'm looking for? Impacted for 24 hours, like some of these little effects, or if it's for like every shift thereafter until you get another little perk. And then what happens after Rena chooses a perk? Does it show up here? No, yeah, because we went up in ranks every time, I didn't see if the perk was just like sitting there. And I like the percentage like chance for something to succeed or fail, and that it tells you that. That's pretty cool. So you can like run the risk of what you want to do. I would also like to try to become enemies with paras. Like, what does that look like? If we're not friends, if we're kind of like not having a good time, I think after this, they're going to walk into Bloom. And I would have liked to see some interaction with the hiring sign, if that's possible. And I also wonder if the only way to make a group is to click and drag and highlight like that. Like, can I click on the para and add to group? I wonder if that was already, that was already seen, or if that's planned or whatever, the free plan. Yeah, there's just a para in here on his phone. Yeah, I think more or less what I saw that was interesting was seeing paras walking around at all hours of the day, wanting to talk to different paras, getting a little peek at the buy catalog, and build mode, and being able to buy an item really quickly. And then Milo goes over here and plays guitar, which does help him with work. But I also, Milo's now level 2 of guitar and was gaining music skill. And anytime he was having like a mood, you could pick a reaction. It's just different enough from The Sims that there's going to be, for me, I think, a steep learning curve of how to interact with this. This feels like someone said, like a town to city Sims crossover. And I haven't even played Town to City. I'm just assuming. Oh, I did like this too, loading into the little antique store. But then it's like you go into the stores and there's nobody there. And that has to be by design. It's almost like the store itself is a character and you don't necessarily need anybody to work in the store. Because like, what's the pair gonna do? They don't need to sell you anything. You just click on the item and you purchase it. Oh, and then some items were on sale. Like that bed was on sale. I wonder if the price of the bed changes depending on how like big it is. Because you should, I thought you were able to like change the sizes of stuff. Yes, $225 instead of $900. That was pretty good. Yeah, so oh, that was also confusing to me. The fact that you could be a friend and acquaintance rank. I was like, what? Like to me, the way that The Sims kind of does it is like an acquaintance is a lower rank friend, more or less, you know, like rather than it be two separate things. So I didn't know what that was about. I don't know if that's a bug or if that's just like a different way of looking at relationships, which is totally fine too. Just, yeah, when I'm looking at these things, I'm thinking about the idea that it's going to be a learning curve for me because I haven't played any other life simulations a whole bunch. But, and also, can we lock wants? Like, do they have to reset every night? And I keep some if I want to keep some? And I guess you can't assign a bed. Because I feel like if you could have, Rena would have done that. Let me see what those interactions were because I have it going so fast. Go here, jog here, run here, dance here, exercise, sit here, daydream. That's cool. Like anywhere you can just start exercising. There's also these little exclamation points that keep popping up around town. I'm wondering what those exclamation points mean. Okay, yeah, so talk with. So you can talk with a para and then the actual interactions of what you're saying are popping up down in this like lower panel here. That's why it was also interesting too to figure out, I'm like, okay, well, how do you flirt? Do I have to just hope that my parrot has a flirty like mood basically, and then I can unlock flirty interactions? And what does it look like to have a parrot cheat on their partner? Like what, okay, you have a partner, what's that got to do with me? You know? I bet a few are empty because it's still early development, but it would be so cool if they were all functional. You're talking about the different buildings and stuff? I'm telling you, who is that lady? Ask if single versus ask if single flirty. I like that the implication of that. Like you could be like, oh, like, are you partnered? Versus, so like, what's your situation? You know? The communication is a little confusing. I would like to think that I can flirt whenever I want, not to have to wait till it pops up. Yeah. That's what, or to force myself into a flirty mood and then go and try to interact with someone in a flirty way. But again, something about this feels gamified to me in a way that the Sims 4 is not, or the Sims has never been. Like you can more or less just kind of like click and kind of interact any old way. But this kind of has a feeling of like you rank up. And then when you rank up, you get the option to choose. And then you see how that results. Like, I don't know, it's kind of cute. I like the mechanic. But I feel bad that Rena thought that because she was cheating. I mean, we don't even know. We were just flirting. Mind you, in real life, unacceptable. Right, and there's XP, exactly. Oh, there's a little water fountain. I wonder what the interaction is with the water fountain, or not water fountain, the well, the little well thing. And then that was it. Yeah, so I mean, what we saw today, more or less, was wake up, get a job. Also, that was another thing I was thinking about. Like one of the goals for Milo was get a job. And I'm like, do I have to do these? Are these a requirement? Find a job, place a decorative object in your home, cook a meal. Can I ignore these? Can I get XP any other way? I think my limited familiarity with Paralives is also informing some of these questions. Like, I'm sure if I was like really dialed into the Patreon, to the website with their news updates, maybe I would have like a better understanding of what exactly we're getting as far as like how it's expected to work. But honestly, seeing the gameplay for me was a little bit like, oh, this is doing things in a different way than I anticipated. And I like that. We see the skills here, the technology skill, current learning speed in units per hour. Very interesting information. 3 is the base learning speed. And like, depending on their little mood and what they're doing, you can be learning the skill faster. This is a knowledge skill. Improving skills under it will improve it as well. Improving your knowledge will increase the speed at which skills under it improved. So I guess graphic design was like a subset of technology. So the higher the technology skill, the higher that all skills related to technology will be acquired, which makes sense to me. I'm just kind of going through the frames. Food. I wish we had leveled up the cooking skill a little bit so I could see more food that was unlocked. Sitting down eating this food. So far away. What did you even eat? Oh yeah, a piece of the pizza supposedly, but we don't really see the pizza. I wonder if some of this was just zoomed out because like some of it's still being worked on, but I think that's okay. Like some of the little quirky stuff that we saw today, like some of the placeholder text and some of the things that were a little bit broken, I'm just like, yeah, that's part of it. It's early access. I kind of like seeing that it's imperfect in this case, because you guys are an indie studio, so it's okay for y'all if things are a little bit like wonky. I also wanted to know if these become red, because I'm probably gonna see red, you know what I mean, if that's an option. All I ever saw was yellow. Rena was very, on it with the needs. The needs here also look like it's food, sleep, bathroom, hygiene. So I guess no social and no fun is measured here. I guess that's just measured here in your moods and stuff, the little mood cards. There's always a concern that the people that gravitate towards any particular game in mass will be the ones that influence how it is and give it a difference from the more universal appeal. I kind of do hope that they do something similar but are appropriate, like exercising outside, etc. That would make it feel alive, but spamming these functions would be just as annoying as nothing at all. He said, I do hope that people aren't going to be running around doing random stuff like they do in The Sims, exercising, making white cakes as if there's no tomorrow. Yeah, I think I was thinking more so like I kind of just want the little pairs to be talking with each other when they pass by each other, or if they know each other or something. I can't tell who knows each other in the town. And how friendly is this town even, right? Like, that's what I want to see. Like, do y'all know each other? Are y'all cool? Click throughs. Yeah, the rank. Yeah, so it was like, wake up, get a job, go to sleep, meet some people, check out the stores. That was what we got today. We got a little bit of flotation. We made a couple of acquaintances, saw some objects. Obviously, the biggest elephant in the room when it comes to Paralives is that the early access for the game was delayed. Originally, we were going to get early access to Paralives to play. You and I, me and you, being able to play the game. We were going to be able to play this as early as December 2025. However, Paralives did release this message here, where they share that the new early access release date is May 25th, 2026. And if that date or some time around that date sounds familiar to you, it might be because you too are following Grand Theft Auto 6, which has also been delayed to November of 2026, which was originally supposed to go out around May 2026. So, it's just delays, babes. So it was supposed to be December 8th originally that we were going to play Paralives, but now it has been moved to May 2026. And I don't know what the overall reception was. I saw some mixed reactions. I think more or less people are happy to have a delay if it means it's going to be a good game. I also saw some skeptics on maybe in the Instagram post is where I saw some posts that basically were even questioning whether or not the game would come out at all because it's been in development for so long, several years at this point. They said 6 years. I haven't double checked. And I think goes to show how challenging it is to create and produce and share a life simulation game. And there haven't been that many successful games to do this, except for The Sims and all of the Sims sequels. We have The Sims, Sims 2, Sims 3, and Sims 4. And now we'll have Enzoy. Enzoy's out. You can play Enzoy now. And now we're talking about Paralives. So they shared this note that basically was like, hey, over the last 6 years of development, thank you for answering that question for me, starting with 2 to 3 developers for the first years to growing to an average team size of only 10 people, we had to alternate long stretches of development between these 3 parts of the game. So they're talking about how the life sims are really 3 games in one: an advanced and flexible build mode, a greatly customizable character creator, and a complex life simulation mode. We are so proud of what we've built, but now we just need a bit more time to polish the simulation part of the game. This would ensure Paralives offers a great first experience when it launches, making players come back for every exciting free update and expansion that we will put out afterwards. And yeah, so at the top of the message, he said, it's Alex, I guess, from Paralives. Unfortunately, we had to make the difficult decision to delay the release. We're truly sorry for the last minute announcement. Keep in mind, they did say, November 6th. Paralives comes out in 1 month. Here's what to expect from our early access release. They have all this stuff here talking about Paralives release December 8th. And they're showcasing all the things we'll be able to do. So as of November 6th, they were like, yep, we're gonna do it. Then November 11th, they shared the requirements for Windows and Mac. I think it's promising that it's for PC and Mac, because I was a Mac OS player for a long time of The Sims. So thank you so much, Paralives, for considering the Mac players. And that was November 11th. But then by November 14th, barely a week after this post, they announced that they're going to push the game back. So it's a little bit of like trepidation, I feel like, when it comes to the management of what's going on behind the scenes, because they were very confident in releasing, and then all of a sudden now we need to polish things up. So that seems a little strange. I'm thinking that maybe they got a little cold feet. They really know that there's a lot of pressure on this game, and honestly, it doesn't help. I feel like the EA buyout doesn't help the situation because there are so many more eyes on this game than maybe there even was 3 months ago, right? I think people have been like casually paying attention to Paralives before, but this needs to kind of go off without a hitch. And I feel like they know that the pressure is there, even though it could be unfair, you know, and it probably is unfair. I also find it interesting when developers and teams tell us how challenging and difficult it is to make a game, because I'm kind of like, yeah, no shit. But no one told you to do that. You wanted to do it. You were the ones who came in and was like, we're going to come out with early access, you know, next month. And then a week later said, oh, JK, we can't, right? Like, and for me, I'm like, y'all do whatever you need to do to make the game as polished as you want to make it. I want this to be successful. It looked so cute from what we just saw in the video, and I'll go through and scrub through some of the things that stood out to me. I was like watching like, oh, I just want to get my hands on this. I want to play myself. That being said, I want them to have the support that they need. They do have a Patreon, so if you are interested in supporting their development, you can join their Patreon. I am not a member of their Patreon. I just want to make that clear. But I may join. They have $3. Yeah, it looks like, oh, you can contribute up to $50 a month, as little as $3 a month. Your name in the game credits, access to exclusive posts on Patreon, community polls, patron, Discord role, and channel. So this is $3 a month. Elders maybe is the basis. All rewards from previous tiers, HD and 4K wallpapers, free Paralives soundtrack upon release of the game. That's fun. Then for Ancient, all rewards from previous tiers, your name in the credits under Super Patron, Discord Super Patron role, and access to developer channel, access to work in progress screenshots on Discord developer channel. I mean, I think it might help, you know, it could help them get over the little hump that they're on. Supposedly they're making about 50 grand a month for development. So I don't know if that's a lot or a little based on how long it seems to even work on stuff. It seems like that could just be like them barely scraping by. You know, when you think about the idea of like paying people and like hiring for people and all that sort of thing, that I mean, I don't even know. So they have these little things of what to expect from early access with December 8th, which has obviously been pushed back to May 25th, 2026. They say, what is early access? It's when developers release a game before it's complete to receive feedback from players while it's still being shaped. You will be able to manage your players' needs, wants, life goals, and career, but these are still being improved. You might encounter bugs and crashes. You can make friends, find love, or be mean. Social life basics are there, but still lacking things like organizing social events and calling other paras. And that's why there were no other paras being called. Okay. For now, when a para is born, gets married, or dies, there isn't much to highlight these moments, but we plan to add emotions and celebration to these, I guess, later. We've designed a cozy town for you to discover, but it's still lacking activities outside of some shops and collectibles to find. The para maker will let you fully customize and dress your characters, but some hairstyles and clothing items are still missing. A good selection of furniture and objects is waiting for you in build mode. A wider variety will be coming out in future updates. The build mode is pretty flexible, but some important features are still to come, like pools, basements, and more flexible stairs and roof. At launch, modders will be able to add all kinds of custom content to the game that players can easily find and install using the Steam Workshop. Over the 6 years of development, some features have been teased but have been put aside and won't be ready for launch. Using the zip line, removing shoes automatically. We prefer to let you know. And then within the next 2 years of early access, we plan to add content to every part of the game, as well as new features like cars, pets, and deeper parenting gameplay. So no pets. Don't expect hundreds of hours at gameplay just yet. We aim to get there by adding more content and date based on the feedback we get from you. As a small team of passionate life simulation fans, we have pledged that all future updates and expansions will be free. We are so grateful and excited to embark on this next chapter of Paralives and improve the game together based on your feedback. This little picture of people. And then see you on December 8th for Paralives Early Access release on Steam. JK! May 25th, 2026. I like how they outlined what you should expect from the early access. I will be curious to see how this little graphic would update, what will be updated for when it actually comes out. We have our development roadmap. Paralives is coming out on May 25th, 2026 in early access. They have here features available on day one of early access, and then plan to come out during early access. So I wonder, I'm glad I'm looking at this now because I did not see this, or if I did, it's been a long time. Maybe since my first Paralives video that I made, maybe we looked at it in that video. I'll link that one here, where we see what's supposed to come out on day one and then what is supposed to come out later. I'm just curious if this has changed or if this has stayed the same since the 6-month pushback. Day one, open world town, which we saw. Rabbit holes for work, day-night cycle, career progression, personality, emotions, wants, skills, needs, social interactions, relationship development, multi-selecting characters and doing anything as a group. We saw that. We saw a little bit of cooking, but not really. House fires, bills, having children, aging and death, character autonomy, shops and restaurants. Museum. Oh, we didn't see restaurants for real, unless the cafe was supposed to count as a restaurant. Museum and collections, modding tools to add and edit the game content. For build mode, color wheels, we didn't get to see that today. Flexible wall placement tools, curved and at any angle. We kind of saw that in some of what was like the buildings we were in today, but I was curious of how much of that is editable. Optional grid for wall placement, split level platforms, building multiple floors, moving existing walls, object resizing, stairs and roof placement, and fences. And then the color wheel for everything in the Paramaker, height slider, body and face sliders, tattoo placement, layering and mixing of tops, undershirt with the jacket, asymmetry for eye color, socks, and more, genetics, and creating and managing multiple outfits. So that is what we should expect in May. Then they're continuing to work on weather and seasons, the calendar. Oh, you know, I love a calendar. Family tree, dogs, cats, and horses, cars and bikes, and houseboats, swimming, story progression for NPCs, gardening and fishing, organizing social events. Oh, that's gonna be my big one. Calling pairs over the phone and chatting online. Love that, need that as well. And you know, I can see for them particularly that being a challenging one because the way that social interactions work. I guess they could just give like ranks and points and stuff, but there was a lot of clicking through to get to different levels of social. So I wonder if that's also part of it, aside from just whatever the coding is for that. Tools to edit and create towns, more personality traits, wants, emotions, jobs, etc. For build mode, they want to add pools, advanced roof tools, advanced stair tools, placing windows and doors on curved walls, basement, lake and ponds, and more furniture and objects. And then for the Paramaker, creating pets, editing the genetics with advanced tools, and more clothing items. Okay. Oh, this is the Notion thing that was mentioned, that there's like a full Notion, like this is what we're working on. So this is what's done. This is kind of cool. You can see what's done, in progress before the early access release, improve shops and what they sell. Okay, that's just a little note here. Town activities and events. Whoa, date created April 2022. I don't need to see this. This is almost too much information, if I'm honest, during early access. I don't even know what this means. See, I think this is what the level of transparency that they want from The Sims. And I honestly think you don't need to know how the sausage gets made on some level. This is very cool because it's like an indie project and there are people who are funding this. And so in so many ways, if you are a patron, you are like a stakeholder. Like how right now EA is a publicly traded company. So, you know, if you have stock in the company, there's some level of like, well, what are y'all doing with my money kind of thing, right? I think this kind of level of transparency for the people who are patrons makes sense. Me as just a gem pop regular old girl, I will not paying to see this level of detail. I don't need to see this. Gatekeep, girl boss, and what the rest of the phrase. Okay, but I love it. I love this. And so like they said, they have this. If you guys are nosy and you want to poke around, I'll link it. I'll link it in the description below. But I do kind of feel like if you're going to be this involved in what they're doing, maybe you should pay them a little bit. Just throw them a little $3 a month, you know, a little something. This line here that says, don't expect hundreds of hours of gameplay just yet. We aim to get there by adding more content and depth based on the feedback we get from you. I wonder if that will change by the time the early access comes out in May. I wonder if they do want people to feel like they can come back again and again. And maybe that's why it was delayed, is because they don't feel like people even want to do that. You know, like you get in, you kind of poke around a little bit and then you're done. I don't know. I just am like, I'm curious what wasn't done for next week that's going to be done by May. I'm sure if I look at their little Notion, I could have an understanding. But it is you know, curious for me. I think you covered everything pretty well. Honestly, there wasn't much there, and I understand why they pushed the game. What I saw from Paralives today was cute. I am excited. I do want to get my hands on the game. I'm like, how do I become like an early access tester? Because I want to go in there and I'm gonna get in there and futz around with it. So I am excited for its eventual early access release next year. Hopefully it doesn't have to get pushed back again, but if it does, understandable. There's a lot to undertake with these life sim games that I can't even begin to understand. I am aware of that. That being said, I do wish that, the tone of this game seems a lot more cozy, and just like even the community manager today's vibe was like very chill. And I'm like, oh, okay, is that what this game is gonna be? Because I'm like, I'm chill, but like, I'm not that chill. No one challenged that. Anyone who's like, chill, nope, it's not a question. I stated the fact. So I'll have everything linked below. I'm glad that we at least got this. I don't know how often they're planning on showing off things in this way. I hope at least once a month, because basically it's supposed to come out next summer, at the beginning of next summer. So it's still pretty soon. So yeah, I'm excited to get a hold of this game. I think especially this game in comparison to Inzoi. Before I actually played Inzoi, I was a little bit like, I don't know, the vibe of Inzoi just seems a little, But actually playing Inzoi, I thought that was cute too. I just love a life simulation game, y'all. And yeah, I think at this point, we just have to wait and see. I'll try to do my best to stay up to date with whatever news that Paralives has coming out. But if you see anything that's interesting, make sure you comment down below. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, you like and share this video, and you turn on the post notifications so you know when my next video goes up. Thank you to my members for supporting me as a creator and helping me create videos for this channel. If you would like to become a member to get access to exclusive emotes and get early access videos, you can do that on my YouTube channel and click the join tab. I think the next thing, if you're interested in watching something else, I did play Inzoi, like I said, so you can check that out. And until next time, y'all, dag dag!